you can see, that is downtown Manhattan, and these are the two bridges which are beautiful, Manhattan and Brooklyn bridges, which are very famous. And as you can see, the sun is very bright and it's a beautiful day today. Guys, what's up everyone, this is Gaurav. Welcome back to another video. In this video I'm going to show you around Pier 35. As you can see in the back of me, this is Manhattan Bridge, and beyond that is Brooklyn Bridge. So I'm going to tell you some information today about how to get a job in the United States or anywhere as an international student, and also I'll be showing you around this Pier 35. Now, as an international student, securing a job in United States is stacked upon you, or it feels like it has been stacking upon you, because there are many cases where students feel not confident in getting a job. Not only we have to, as an international student, worry about how to get to the application, how to make resume, how to network, and how to start a coffee chat, but also we have to worry about the sponsorship and the H-1B visa rules, which are already like very much difficult or getting difficult. But since the administration has been changed, hopefully it will be better. But this all points we have to worry about as an international student. So in this video I'm going to tell you how to secure a job, or how to get, or how to find a job as an international student in the United States or anywhere in whichever country you are. So, and also I'll be showing you around, as I showed you, the Pier 35, two bridges, and the beautiful place here where I'm standing. So if you want to know or how to secure a job in the United States and look around this lower Manhattan, please keep on watching. So as you can see, that bridge is called Manhattan Bridge, and the other bridge is the Brooklyn Bridge, where we are right now. The train goes below this Manhattan Bridge, and there is a traffic on top of it. And on Brooklyn Bridge you can walk, but there is no train over there. So this is pretty amazing view. And I want to start this video by talking about the job search mindset. Now, your actions are governed by your thoughts, and your actions will create the impact on your life, and your actions will prove how your life goes. So it's very important to have a right mindset while searching for a job. Like, most of the international student thinks that being international in any of the country, or especially in the United States, it's a backstep or it's a loss for them. That's completely wrong. You being as an international student in the United States is a plus point for you, because you leave your country, you leave your friend, and you live your lifestyle to come to this country and grow up and be successful in your career. So that's the first most important point, is having the right job search mindset. And this is governed by three principles. Now, first one, you have to adapt to and accept that this is how the job application works. You cannot do anything about it, and you do not have any control over the job application process. So you have to accept and agree. The second principle is the burden of telling or convincing the employer about your status and sponsorship is completely dependent on you. So that is the second principle you have to keep in mind. The third principle is being an international student in this country or United States is a big benefit. It might not be seem so, but it is true, and you have to go with these three principles by keeping your mindset very positive. And if you do that, you will be able to achieve and you will be able to get a job in United States. These are the swings in which you can sit down and you can have a pretty view of these two bridges and the lower Manhattan. The second point I will say is do your research. Now, as an international student, you should be aware of all the rules and regulation being on a student visa, especially for OPT, H1B and every other points which you should be aware as an international student. Now, when I say do your research, what does it mean? It means that you should not be applying to jobs where the company does not sponsor you. Now, how to find out which company is sponsoring and which is not? Now, it's pretty simple. There are many websites like myvisajobs.com, h1base.com, and also USCIS portal has its own website which shows which employers gave H1B visa to how many people. So do your research and only apply to the companies who you know that they are going to sponsor you, and when you get a job, you are not lying or you are not saying to them that, oh, you do not need a sponsorship. Because according to me, you should not lie your employer, and you should be very open about your sponsorship from the day one during your interview, because it governs all the aspects. Like, suppose they are not sponsoring, and if you get selected and you started there, you might have to switch your company when you have to extend your OPT or when you have to get your H1B sponsorship. So it's very important not to lie about your status or your sponsorship. So always do your research and go for the companies who are hiring international students, and never lie about your immigration status that you won't need any sponsorship. Be upfront, tell it from your start, and whenever you have interviews, just tell them that you will need a sponsorship, but not right away. Explain them, educate them if they are not aware of this OPT rules and regulation. That is the best way to do it, because many employers don't know about it and they think that they have to sponsor from upper hand as soon as you get hired, but that's not true. If you are a STEM major, you get 3 years of OPT if you can work without sponsorship, and 1 year if you are non-STEM background. So it's very important to educate, and also please do your research and make sure of all the deadlines, all the OPT, internship, CPT, rules and regulations. These are the swings which I was talking about. As you can see, there are 4 swings where you can literally sit down here and have a very wonderful time of your view. And the next point I would like to say is to educate and advocate. Now, what happens that many of the US employers, which are small firms, but they do not know how the hiring of international student works. They do not know when to sponsor and what is OPT and H1B. So if you run into that situation, always educate your employer about the rules and regulation. And as an international student, you have to be aware of all these rules and regulation upfront. Please educate your employer that when will you need your sponsorship, and do not lie. As I said in my previous point, do not lie to your US employer. Put it upfront that when you will going to require sponsorship and how they can do it if they are not aware or if they have never done it. So it's very important to tell them about your legal status and to educate them about the rules and regulation and all the visa requirements which are needed in order to hire you, and when all the things will be needed and what will be the deadlines and the timelines. So when you are hired, it's not a problem for the employer to apply for it and how it works. So it's very important to educate them if they are unaware, and the US employer should be educated and advocated. So, as you can see, I'm sitting down in the swing and having the view of this beautiful bridges and the city. Now, the next point I would like to say is network and communicate. Now, communication is so much important when it comes to finding a job, and also networking. Why? Because in communication and networking, when you do networking, that means you are going to communicate with people and you will be able to talk to them and you will be able to do networking. Now, networking does not simply means that you go and talk to somebody with your intentions of getting a job, but networking means that you are going to be very genuine and talk to every person you meet them. It's not only about just building a fake friendship or anything, but it's building a real relationship in order to improve your communication and in order to know different cultures and to explore the United States. It's very important to do a genuine networking and communicate with all the other colleagues or your friends or all the other people who are from the United States, or join a student organization, join a club where you have to communicate, you have to speak in English. Don't just stick around with your country people and talk in your own language. Always try to communicate and talk to in English so that your communication is improved, your skills are showing it better, and always network with wherever you go. Join clubs, join organization. Student services might have many international festivals. Go there and meet with them and try to communicate. So these are another very important point to find a job in the United States, is to network and to communicate. There are many big ships which comes and goes from this. Now, the next point I would like to say is to differentiate. Now, as an international student, you bring a different global perspective in terms of being an international. Now, you can share your experience of being an international student, your cultural experience, your experience to come as a student all the way from a different country to a different place. So it's very important for you to explain and differentiate yourself and saying that how the experience was and how did it go. So it's very important to differentiate about your culture and your experiences and share them to different people or the native people of America. So it's important to put yourself out of your comfort zone, talk to people, share your experience of being an outsider, or I won't say outsider, but being an international student, sharing your beautiful experience which you had. So it's very important to share whatever you got and differentiate yourself at workplace or wherever you are studying in a classroom. So it's very important to have this kind of differentiation when it comes to sharing your experiences and cultural differences. So always, it's not like being an international student it's a disadvantage, but being an international student, it's very important to differentiate yourself and share your experiences with many people as possible. And being an international student or an international in this country of United States is an advantage rather than a disadvantage. Always keep that in your mind. This beautiful swings are made in this steel structure. So you can see the joints and how being in the construction, it's always fascinating for me how they bring this together. And as you can see, it's fully secured and you can swing. The connections are bolted and it's a pretty view. Another point I would like to say is having a plan B. As an international student, 80% of the students get job in the United States and around 30% of international students get an internship in the United States. But what if you are the remaining percentage who's not getting a job? Then it is very, very, very important to have a plan B. Now, what do I mean by plan B? Plan A for you is to graduate and get a job, correct? But if it doesn't work out, you have to have a plan B. Are you going for your another master's? Are you going for something different than that, some program in order to maintain your visa status? Or are you moving to another country? Or are you taking some of the classes which will help you go to another level of PhD program? Or are you planning to take a PhD or a higher level degree? So it's very, very, very important. Again, I have told many times that you have to have a plan B. You have to network with the professionals. But if it does not work out, then it's very crucial for you to know what are the next steps. So if it doesn't work out as you are planning, it is very important to have those kind of a mindset where you have also decided that if suppose you don't get a job, then you have your plan B ready, because being an international, you have to face all the deadlines, all kinds of restrictions, all kinds of visa requirements. So if you miss one of the deadlines or if you miss one of the points, it will be troublesome for you. So always have a plan B and always be prepared for the worst. So in conclusion, I would like to say that always network, always have communication with people, always have a plan B, always try to lead your application, educate your employers, always have a right mindset. And if you do all these things which I mentioned in this video, you will definitely be able to get a job and you will be able to prepare yourself about the scenario how it is. I hope you enjoyed this video, you enjoyed this beautiful Pier 35 view, and I hope you got some information. As I was showing you, this is downtown Manhattan. The train is going. I'm not sure if you're able to see or not. That is the Freedom Tower, One World Trade Center. This is the lower Manhattan. My actual office is right there, 26 Federal Plaza, where I work. And many of the construction site is also over there. So it was a beautiful day. I hope you got an idea and you enjoyed this view which I showed of Pier 35.